All right, full time. The club of Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously win Tottenham Hotspur by 4 goals to 1. And remember, Arsenal last lost 15 years ago at the Emirates. You understand? So, welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where you're watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And as I predicted in my match preview, it was obviously gonna be a win for the club of Arsenal. I gave you my reasons. Spurs had a very depleted side. You get very many injuries, though they obviously tried to bring back players like Udogi in the team. You saw Kudos, but all of them were not functioning at full wavelength, and that's why you saw to it that they are really shite. And obviously, they had to lose. And Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously beat the side of Tottenham Hotspur by 4 goals to 1. And there is what we call a hat-trick hero who goes by the names of Eberechi Eze. And for Eberechi Eze, this is really very, 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 very important. And it's really a very important, it's a very important win for him. Why? Because one, the side of Arsenal, right, and Spurs wanted to obviously get the deal. Arsenal were the first people to obviously get into the front to get this guy signed. But guess what? They really felt like they never really needed to obviously pay that amount of money. But the injury of Kai Havertz went ahead to force Arsenal to bring in the player. And boom, they went in with £68 million and they signed the player known as Eberechi Eze. And guess what? He became one of those players for the club of Arsenal. And that was what we call a hijack. So the player was hijacked. You understand? The player was hijacked from from Tottenham Hotspur, and he went to the side of Arsenal. And remember, these two clubs are in what we call North London. Being in North London, that means they are really rivals, and whoever would fail to get this player would have gone ahead to find himself in a position of really losing out, and he or she was supposed to be covered in shame. And guess what? Who really went ahead to take the shame? It was the side of Tottenham Hotspur, and today Eberechi Eze has been the hero in there. Now, in the 36th minute, Leandro Trossard went ahead to capitalize onto that very well calculated pass through the central defense of Spurs by Mikel Merino, and he really went ahead to take a fast touch. His composure was really top notch and buried that ball into the back of the net to make it 1-0 for the club of Arsenal. And that is a player known as Leandro Trossard. From Leandro Trossard, we went to Eberechi Eze 5 minutes later, went ahead to make it 2-0. And you know how he went ahead to obviously do the magic. It was a ball that came in through and it found him at the edge of Tina's box area, and he really went ahead to really take someone 2-3 touches and shot that ball into the back of the net. And there was huge obstruction, and you have to give Eberechi Eze for that imminent thinking on what kind of shot he was supposed to take and direct to the goalkeeper, and it went into the back of the net in there for you. Then in the 46th minute, at the beginning of the second half, 1 minute in, he made it 3, for Arsenal and a brace for him. You understand? And then in the 46th minute, after the 46th minute, 5 minutes later, Zubimendi went ahead to obviously be pressed, and he lost the ball to Richarlison, and David Raya had gone ahead to move off his line, and Richarlison went ahead to loop him, and the ball went into the back of the net. It was a spectacular, really attempt, and it really looked good for the lad known as Eberechi. It was a very huge creation from a side known as Richarlison, and it was 3-1 in there for you. And for Richarlison, it was 1 for him. And I think that was the first shot on target for the side of Spurs, meaning that it took them 54 minutes, all 55 minutes, to obviously get what we call or register their first shot on target. Then, in the 76th minute, Eberechi Eze completed his hat-trick. And for me, this goal was really great. Why was it great? Declan Rice wins the ball in the midfield. He plays in a player known as Mikel Merino. Mikel Merino plays in plays in a player called Trossard. Trossard goes ahead to obviously square that ball around the D of the 18 yards box area to Eberechi Eze. And the first touch of Eberechi Eze takes off a player of Spurs who really came in, I think, he came in like rain being chased from the heaven. That is Udogie. And Udogie was really sent back to the Serie A. And guess what? Eberechi Eze took that touch and it was a 2-in-1, taking off Udogie, who had slid in, and then he was setting that ball into the vicinity that he thought was the best for him to shoot at goal. And indeed, it resulted to be the best vicinity, and the ball went into the back of the net from a man known as Eberechi Eze to complete his hat-trick in this particular game of football altogether. So that's how things really panned out for the side of Arsenal, and they really put in a very, 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 very huge shift in there for you. Now, the hat-trick that Eberechi Eze has gone ahead to score today has a lot of stats on it. And what are those stats? 1. Eberechi Eze has scored the 4th ever hat-trick in competitive meetings between Arsenal and Spurs after Ted Drake against Arsenal in October 1934, Terry Dayson, Spurs 1961, and Alan Sunderland, Arsenal, December 1978, and he is really a man in there. So this is really very huge for Eberechi Eze. And his celebrations obviously show you how important this was in there for you. And this hat-trick has gone ahead to obviously have another start registered on it, and it's obviously coming in from Opta Joe. They are telling us that Eberechi Eze has scored the 400th hat-trick in the Premier League history. He's the 23rd player to score one for Arsenal, with no side having more difficult with no side having more different hat-trick scorers in the competition. Obviously, that is Eberechi Eze for you. So he's the 23rd player to score one for Arsenal. So Arsenal had 22 players to have or to ever score hat-tricks in what we call the Premier League, and now this is the 23rd. But in the Premier League, it's the 400th hat-trick being scored in here. What message does that send to you? It sends you a message that things really happen, and things are continuing to happen in here onto our beautiful channel. But obviously, Arsenal have gone ahead to beat this side. And for Richarlison, obviously, he has also registered a start with a goal that Arsenal only went ahead to concede. And what is that start? I think, what's that start? Oh, haven't obviously posted it. Obviously, it said that Richarlison's goal for Spurs is the farthest out scored in the Premier League this season at 35.3 yards. It's also the second farthest out goal on record scored in the Premier League North London Derby after David Bentley's strike for Spurs at the Emirates Stadium in October 2008, which was recorded at 35.7 yards. Now, you have all the facts with you in there. So that's exactly what happened in that Richarlison goal. But obviously, Arsenal went in and really saw lots of positives into this game of football. 1, Eberechi Eze, hat-trick. Very important. And I tell you what, he is really a very, 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 very spectacular player. I tell you. And though I maintain my stance, I tell you that the best number 10 in that Arsenal side is Martin Odegaard. That is it. Because of what he gives, to the side of Arsenal and how he makes other players really great. When you look at the 4 goals that Arsenal have gone ahead to score, I tell you what, Eberechi Eze, as a number 10, has to be seen more in the creative role than the scoring role. You understand? You get? And we want to see him really creating. That is it. And he has to really mix up the two. And to show you to it that it's not all great for him in that creative role, especially when he's being played as a number 10. Eberechi Eze has gone ahead to obviously have... they're not bringing the Premier League. I don't know why. You understand? But he's really one of those players that has gone ahead to put in a very huge shift. And I remember he has something like 2-3 assists in there for you, but his goals are really helping the club of Arsenal to obviously elevate. You understand? So, Leandro Trossard scoring the first goal, and the guy left for the international break or the international duty when he was really on fire, and the fire is still on. It's still buzzing and really burning hot for the guy. Today he has gone ahead to score, and he has gone ahead to obviously create an assist for for a team known as Arsenal. He scored the first goal, Mikel Merino had the assist, and for the fourth goal, guess who had the assist? It was Leandro Trossard. So you will now understand and prove to me that all what I said about Martinelli was really right. That for any team that really understands the game of football, they should be keeping a player known as Trossard ahead of Martinelli, or they should be keeping the two, because for Trossard you can't really let him go. You know, they never extended any other year on his contract, but they really increased his salary. That is Leandro Trossard. But I know come January, the lad will obviously be negotiating big for big money. I tell you why. Because he is really putting in shifts, and no manager can allow to lose a player like Leandro Trossard. You know, in this game when it started, Spurs really played a low block, and they were not really opening up. And Arsenal scoring goals minus a goal of a set piece, it shows you how they went ahead to obviously read Spurs very well, and they understood the assignment that we should obviously do the needful and really open them up. By the way, Spurs is not one of those teams that really concede a lot of goals from set pieces, and they did all what they had to do, and Arsenal opened them up. When you look at the first goal, Merino's assist was spectacular. Second goal, obviously, Eberechi Eze put in a very huge strike. Then the third one, you saw how Julian Timber went ahead to obviously maraud and invert into the right half space. Then he really played in Eberechi Eze, and Eberechi Eze went ahead to obviously direct that ball into the back of the net. The fourth goal, you saw Leandro Trossard do the needful, and he went ahead to bury that ball in the back of the net. So I tell you, all those goals came in through from the open play. And this is a question that many have been asking, that how is Arsenal going to look when they don't score goals from set pieces? I tell you what, they've gone ahead to score all these goals, and they've not gone ahead to come from open play. Now, I think they have an answer. You know, that is the hugest positive that Arsenal have gone ahead to harvest from this particular game of football, because that is a question that many have been asking, but Arsenal have gone ahead to give you the answer. You understand? Then, the other negative, I think they've not gone ahead to keep a clean sheet, and now it's 2 games without keeping a clean sheet. To the international break, 2-2 draw with Sunderland, and today they've gone ahead to concede that goal that you think would have been avoidable. You understand? That goal would have gone ahead to obviously be avoidable. But I tell you what, it went in through, but it's a North London derby, and facing Spurs, a team that had scored 20 goals in this league, it shows you to it that at least they would show some seriousness of really creating some serious damage to the club of Arsenal in as far as not keeping a clean sheet is really concerned. So I don't think that will obviously be registered in as a huge concern in here, but all I want to let you know is simple. The club of Arsenal is really doing the due diligence to see to it that all really goes on well as planned, and they're really doing the best of themselves. And as I told you that they had to capitalize on what really happened to one, Man City and Liverpool. They've really gone ahead to obviously send a message, and that's what champions do. When the teams that are in the title race with you lose, what does a champion do? A champion goes ahead to win that game of football imminently. You get? That is it. So from there, we obviously head to what we call the game and how it obviously went down. Let's obviously read the stats for you, as I really have lots of things to talk about. There is the Hincapi. Before I head into the stats, let me talk about Hincapi. Now, most of us were surprised when the manager really dropped a man known as Squella for Hincapi. Now, I really understand why Arteta went ahead to do that. Hincapi has played more competitive games, at Bayer Leverkusen and Ecuador than a man known as Mosquera. You understand? Now, because he has trained with Arsenal for some time and he has partnered with Saliba in training and so many other games, I think the manager wants to play a left-sided centre-back on the left side of the central defence. You understand? So that's why the manager was like, I'm going to do this. You understand? And you've seen to it that he's really hard, the way he passes, he controls, his game reading is really top-notch, and the big question remains, of the two, who is going to come in through to start when Arsenal is playing against a team known as Bayern Munich on Wednesday? That is the hugest question that will be waiting for its answer. You understand? So that is it. Hincapi went ahead to really represent to the fullest, and I really loved what he went ahead obviously put out. Now, these were the match stats. 17 shots by Arsenal, Spurs had 3. 8 shots on target by Arsenal, Spurs had 2. 57% ball possession by the side of Arsenal, Spurs had 43%. 319 passes completed by Arsenal. Tottenham Hotspur went ahead to complete 205 passes. 88% passing accuracy by Arsenal, then 88% passing accuracy by Spurs. 11 fouls by Arsenal and 15 fouls by Spurs. 11, we had 1 yellow card to Arsenal, to Declan Rice, and 3 went to Spurs. 0 red cards to either sides. 3 offsides to Arsenal and 1 offside to Tottenham Hotspur. 4 corners to the side of Arsenal, and then 1 corner to the side of Tottenham Hotspur in there for you. And that's how Spurs went ahead to obviously represent to the fullest tonight, and they really went ahead to obviously showcase what they really went ahead to obviously come for, and they put in a very huge shift, I must say, and Arsenal went ahead to obviously school them and really show them that we are the Kings of London, and no one doubts on whether Arsenal are the Kings of London or not. So, we are powered by Century Gadgets, dealers in authentic and reliable phones, brand new and unused phones in there for you. So, go ahead and really call them on +256 7561 65285 in there, and they'll obviously deliver you your phone where you want it. And if at all you want to go to their premises, they are located at the Pioneer Mall in Kampala, and they will obviously bring you happiness as you really enjoy your new phone in there for you. So please contact them, and the rest will be history in there for you. Now, we go to the table and see how it's really looking for the club of Arsenal. Now, no team in the Premier League has outscored Man City and Arsenal. Both have gone ahead to obviously score a huge number of goals. And what's the huge number of goals they've gone ahead to obviously put in? It has been 24. You understand? 24 goals have been scored by these teams. And now, Arsenal, 12 games. They do have 29 points, right? And they've won 9 games. They've drawn 2 and they've lost 1. They've scored 24 goals. You understand? They've gone ahead to score 24 goals, and they've conceded 6. Now they have a goal difference of 18, and they do have 29 points. Chelsea, second, 12 games played, they're having 23 points. Man City, 12 games played, they're having 22 points. Aston Villa, 12 games played, they're really having 21. You see how things really change a lot in the Premier League, as Aston Villa were almost at the bottom half. At the bottom of the table, But now, with 12 games in, see what they've gone ahead to obviously deliver. Crystal Palace, 12 games played, they're really having 20 points. Brighton, 12 games played, they're having 19. Sunderland, 12 games played, they're having 19 points. Bournemouth, are really having 12 games played. They're having 19. Tottenham Hotspur have lost to Arsenal, 12 games played. They're having 18 points. And now Arsenal is 9 points clear ahead of Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester United is playing Everton tomorrow. They're having 18 games, meaning that, so they're having 18 points. When they beat Everton tomorrow, that means United will head into the 4th position in there. Liverpool, 12 games, lost to Nottingham Forest yesterday, and they're now having 18 points. Brentford is having 16 points. Everton, that is playing Manchester United tomorrow, is 13th with 15 points in there for you, and they've gone ahead to play 11 games. That is it, and that's how the table is really looking at right about now. So I have a lot to say, but I cannot obviously do everything in this single attempt. You know, I'll obviously try to record maybe another video to obviously tell you what exactly happened. 5 things we learned from the North London derby as Arsenal went ahead to obviously destroy a team known as Spurs. Do you know what it means when you destroy your rival? Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously do it for their fans, and now North London is painted red, because when Spurs wins, it's white. When Arsenal wins, it's red, you know? So that is it for now, and thank you for obviously keeping it Rokani Media Football. Football it is, and we obviously gonna be coming back in a jiffy, and be ready to obviously welcome us back, because we won't really forsake you. I sign out for now. See you later. And this is it the 3rd video of the day? But the first one we put out there, you guys enjoyed it to the fullest, and I give you a 5-finger salute as I sign out, because it's you who make us what we are. Football is what we feed on, and it's what we bring you here. And continue to subscribe, because we want to hit 30,000 subscribers onto this channel. And please, after subscribing, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video on this channel. And that means you won't miss out on any story that you want to know about football, as we are fully charged and we are coming at you at a pace that you also like, and the information will obviously drop on your gadgets ASAP.